Lifty.
I left Wall Street.
I left my country.
I gave up National Geographic. I gave up hip-hop.
I dropped out of preschool to be a lifty.
I left my job as a professional snowboarder.
I left my job as a rocket scientist.
I left my job as a president in Peru.
I gave up my life as a professional actress.
I gave up my life of a wealthy gold prospector. I left my life in Hollywood.
I left my job as a safari guide.
I gave up my life as an ice skater.
I gave up my job as an exotic dancer.
I gave up my job as a bull rider.
Ich habe meine Karriere als Reichskanzler Deutschlands aufgegeben, damit ich bei der Big Mountain arbeiten könnte.
I gave up my job as a neurosurgeon.
I gave up my Kardashian inheritance.
I gave up my job as an astronaut.
I left my job as a very successful actor.
I left my job as a tornado chaser. I was the first woman on the moon.
Yeah, I gave up my job at the Mustang Ranch.
I gave up my job as a rock climber.
He was born a lifty.
I dropped out of kindergarten to be a lifty.
I left my job as a ski instructor.
It's a mascot for beaver eggs!
Those lifties are amazing.
If you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. I'm not trying to sell you on this idea in the sense of converting you to it. I want you to play with it. I want you to think of its possibilities. I'm not trying to prove it. I'm just putting it forward as a possibility of life to think about. So then, let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. And you're all that. Only you're pretending you're not.